In a bustling city in India, where life was an orchestra of chaos, lived a man named Aarav. His days were filled with the symphony of honking horns and hurried footsteps, the rhythm of urban life. Yet, in the quiet corners of his heart, Aarav harbored a longing for a place where the mountains pierced the sky and the valleys stretched as far as the eye could see. A place of serene solitude far from the cacophony of the city. That place was Leh Ladakh. Aarav's heart was a compass, always pointing towards the mystical region of Leh Ladakh. With every sunrise, his desire to explore this land of high passes grew stronger. He dreamt of the rugged mountains, the barren valleys, the crystal-clear lakes and the quaint villages. He yearned to experience the life of the high-altitude dwellers, the nomadic communities, and the people who called this harsh yet beautiful landscape their home. His heart was consumed by wanderlust, a fire that could only be quenched by the cool winds of the Himalayas. His mind filled with visions of a journey that was more than just a travel expedition. It was a voyage of self-discovery, an adventure that promised to reveal not just the world, but also the depths of his own soul. One crisp summer morning, Aarav decided to answer the call of Leh Ladakh. He packed his bags, leaving behind the familiar sights and sounds of the city. His backpack was filled with essentials, his camera ready to capture the moments that lay ahead, and his heart was filled with a curiosity that was as vast as the landscape he was about to explore. And so, with a hopeful heart and a spirit filled with anticipation, Aarav set out. He was ready to embark on a journey that was destined to change his life. To traverse the treacherous roads, to cross the icy rivers, to scale the towering mountains, and to delve into the heart of Leh Ladakh. With a backpack, a camera, and a heart full of curiosity, Aarav embarked on a journey that was destined to change his life. The road to Leh Ladakh was not one for the faint-hearted. It was a test of endurance and spirit, a journey that promised both peril and paradise. Our intrepid adventurer, Aarav, was ready for the challenge. His route twisted and turned through the formidable terrain, the wheels of his vehicle biting into the dust as he navigated the treacherous roads. Each bend in the path unveiled a new spectacle, a fresh vista of the raw and untamed beauty of the Himalayas. Mountains, like sentinels, watched over him as he plunged deeper into their realm, their grandeur dwarfing all else. Aarav wasn't alone on this journey. He crossed paths with nomadic communities, their lives woven into the tapestry of this rugged landscape. Their tents stood out against the barren backdrop, a testament to their resilience and adaptability. They were the true masters of these lands, their existence a dance with nature, in tune with its rhythms and whims. These encounters enriched Aarav's journey. He listened to their stories, shared their meals, and was touched by their warmth and hospitality. They were a reminder that even in the harshest of environments, human spirit thrived. Their simple lives, their contentment, their connection with the earth was a stark contrast to the life Aarav had left behind. As Aarav ascended higher, the scenery morphed around him. The mountains grew taller, their peaks dusted with snow, their slopes carpeted with a riot of wildflowers. The air thinned, the sky turned a deeper shade of blue, and the sun felt closer, its rays piercing the chill. But more than the breathtaking vistas, it was the people Aarav met that left a lasting impression. They were the soul of this landscape, their lives intricately linked to the ebb and flow of nature. Their stories, their laughter, their struggles and triumphs became a part of his own narrative. As he ascended into the high altitudes, Aarav found himself captivated by not just the scenery, but the people he met. They were the heartbeats in the stillness of the mountains, the echoes in the valleys, and the spirit of the land. And as Aarav journeyed on, he carried these stories with him, each one a beacon guiding him deeper into the heart of Leh Ladakh. The days were filled with exploration, but the nights were a spectacle of their own. As darkness fell, Aarav found himself under a sprawling canvas of stars, the Milky Way stretching across the sky like a river of diamonds. The silence was broken only by the occasional hoot of an owl or the rustling of leaves in the wind. As he sat by the crackling fire, Aarav could taste the frosty air, feel the crunch of the ground beneath him, and hear the distant roar of a river. This was a sensory experience like no other, a symphony of sights, sounds, and sensations that stirred his soul. But the hills had more to offer. Aarav found solace in the simplicity of the local cuisine. He savored bowls of topa, a hearty noodle soup, and sipped on butter tea. a traditional beverage that was a staple in this high-altitude region. The robust flavors were a comforting reminder of the warmth and hospitality of the locals. The cultural heritage of Leh Ladakh was yet another facet that intrigued Aarav. Ancient monasteries, perched precariously on rocky cliffs, were a testament to the region's rich Buddhist heritage. As he wandered through these historic structures, Aarav could hear the resonating chants of monks, their voices echoing through the valley. He stood in awe of the intricate murals and statues, each telling a story of faith and resilience. The fluttering prayer flags, each color symbolizing an element of nature, created a riot of colors against the stark landscape. These sacred spaces exuded a sense of tranquility that was both humbling and inspiring. Aarav's days were filled with such experiences, each one etching a lasting memory in his heart. As he lay in his tent each night, he found himself reflecting on the day's adventures, the people he had met, and the lessons he had learned. In the silence of the valleys, the only company Aarav had were his thoughts and the whispers of the wind. Each night, under the vast celestial canopy, he fell asleep with a sense of contentment and a heart full of gratitude for the journey he was on. Eventually, Aarav made it to Leh, a city that welcomed travelers with open arms. A place where the past and present collided in a beautiful symphony of tradition and modernity. Here, amidst the hustle and bustle of the local bazaars and the quiet tranquility of the ancient monasteries, Aarav found a sense of belonging. The city was a melting pot of cultures. Fellow wanderers from every corner of the globe had been drawn to this place, each with their own tale of adventure. Over shared meals and warm cups of butter tea, they traded stories and formed bonds that transcended borders. Aarav was no longer just a solitary traveler, he was part of a global community of explorers. Leh offered more than just companionship, it was a place of culinary discovery. Aarav savored the local delicacies, from the hearty bowls of tukpa, a comforting noodle soup, to momos, delicious dumplings filled with meat or vegetables. Each dish was a delightful fusion of flavors, a testament to the rich cultural tapestry of this region. But it wasn't just the food that tantalized Aarav's senses. The city itself was a feast for the eyes. From the vibrant prayer flags fluttering in the wind to the ancient monasteries perched on rugged cliffs, every sight was a reminder of the rich history and spiritual heritage of Leh Ladakh. As the days turned into weeks, Aarav found himself immersed in the rhythm of life in Leh. He learned the local language, participated in cultural festivals, and even tried his hand at traditional Ladakhi arts and crafts. Every moment was a new lesson, a new experience, a new story to tell. But like all good things, his journey had to come to an end. The time had come for Aarav to pack his bags, to say his goodbyes, to take one last look at the majestic peaks that had been his constant companions. Even as he relished these moments, Aarav knew his journey was drawing to an end, but he wasn't leaving empty-handed. He was taking with him a treasure trove of memories, experiences, and friendships that would last a lifetime. With a heavy heart, Aarav packed his bags, ready to return to his former life. Yet, as he folded his clothes and stowed away his camera, each object seemed to pulse with memories, echoing the whisper of the wind against the mountains, the laughter of the villagers, and the hush of the night sky. As he zipped his backpack shut, Aarav felt a strange sensation. It was as if with every item he packed away, he was also tucking a piece of himself within the folds. The Aarav that had left his bustling city was not the same one going back. The mountains had chiseled away his restlessness, the villagers had warmed his heart, and the night sky had widened his perspective. He realized that the journey was not just about the miles he had traveled, but about the transformation he had undergone. He had learned to appreciate the silence, to live in the moment, to marvel at the miracles of nature, and to value the simple joys of life. The city's chaotic symphony no longer seemed like a cacophony. Instead, it was a melody he had learned to dance to. Aarav's heart was no longer consumed by wanderlust. It was filled with gratitude. He was grateful for the journey, for the people he had met, for the lessons he had learned, and for the memories he was taking back. He knew that these memories would be his companions in the lonely, quiet nights, transporting him back to the mountains, the valleys, and the starlit skies. He was leaving Leh Ladakh, but Leh Ladakh was not leaving him. It had seeped into his soul, leaving an indelible imprint. The rugged mountains, the serene valleys, the azure lakes, the resilient locals. They were all a part of him now. He was no longer just a city dweller. He was also a mountain man, a traveler, a storyteller. Aarav may have returned to the world he once knew, but he was forever marked by the enchanting land of Leh Ladakh. The journey had ended, but the transformation had just begun.